So we are going to start our 11th and 12th class MCQs like quick revision. So today we'll go with the first chapter of biology, which is biomolecules. So let's check it out MCQs. So first question is the sum of all chemical reaction taking place within a cell. So whenever you just see within a cell, this means we are talking about the metabolism because these processes occur inside the cell or within the cell. Just because C is mentioned here, that's why. And why aren't other option? Thermoregulation is simply the maintenance of temperature, which cannot be here. Osmoregulation is maintenance of water and ions, salts, these all, which means it's also incorrect. Isomerism is simply having same molecular formula but different like masses, and they all, this means this is also not right. Even this doesn't aligns with biology any term, just because isomerism is a topic we study in chemistry. So I hope it's clear. Metabolism is the right option. Then which of the following is an example of anabolic process? So this is a memory based question. You need to remember photosynthesis is anabolic process. However, respiration and digestion, these both are the catabolism process. Okay. Then a mammalian cell contain 1.1 percentage of what? So this is simply the question taken from a flow chart which you will see in all the books. So you can see, but however this is very important from all the like table, all the cells, all the components like DNA, RNA, water, everything is written, and RNA is 1.1, which is mostly asked in so many questions. So RNA is the right option. Most abundant organic compound of cell, that's also something we need to remember, just because the right option is protein. They are the organic compounds. Lipid cannot be, neither water nor carbohydrates as well. So I hope it's clear. So here we have importance of water, the MCQ. So water is very good solvent. Solvent is something like water is called a solvent just because this has a capability to dissolve all the other components like salt components, in a sense like ions, salts, sugar, anything like that. So good solvent for substance that's due to just because of dipole nature. When we talk about H2O, it's simply they have a positive and negative charges, partially positive, partially negative. That's why they are called as dipole nature, like H. Oh, sorry, I was right. Oh, so having positive and negative charge. That's why. And second is, and they act as a thermostabilizer. This means they have the higher heat capacity. So this means that's the right option. Then question 6 is about due to higher capacity. This means this is the same question. Higher capacities. This means they are called thermostabilizer. So A is right option. And then water molecule remain attached together and do not separate just because of the hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is very strong and that make them attached. Then which property of water play an important role in regulation of heat? That's called as heat of vaporization. Otherwise these all options doesn't match. Question 9 is if water has high latent of heat of vaporization, this property of water could be helpful to plants and animals. So D is right option. Why? Because it will release some amount of water vapors and a great amount or a large amount of heat loss which can take place. So D is right option. Which property of water can help to maintain integrity of lipid membrane? Lipid membrane, hydrophobic exclusion. This some question that you'll see in so many past papers. Even this taken PMC 2020. I hope it will be clear. Then we have other MCQs, which are water act as a universal solvent. Why? Just because of the higher solubility. So B is the right option. Then water act as a temperature stabilizer for many organisms, for the environment, because of its high specific heat capacity. Density cannot be, high surface tension is something else. Here they're asking for the temperature stabilizer. This means high heat capacity would be required. So ice floats on a water due to its property. So if this is the ice cube and here we have water, so this is going to float, not sink, but instead float just because of it's have a low density. That's why A is the right option. So here comes other questions about carbohydrates. So let's see. So here we have carbohydrate questions. Most abundant carbohydrate in nature is, so remember that cellulose. Why? Because polysaccharide is simply type of carbohydrate which cannot be the right option. Glycogen is simply when like in human muscles abundantly found or stored food is in glycogen form, whereas in plants it is stored in a starch form. So they're asking for the abundant, and the cellulose is the abundant one. Which of the following yield glucose on completely hydrolysis? So ketone is something which will yield completely on hydrolysis. Otherwise, rest option doesn't match. Then we have glucose combined with dash to form milk sugar. Milk sugar is simply lactose. So lactose is formed with what? It's formed with glucose plus galactose formed milk sugar. So galactose would be the right option because glucose is already written. So glucose plus galactose they form lactose. That's called as milk sugar. And then we have formation of trisaccharide involve release of. So for trisaccharide we need to release at least two water molecule in order to make a bond, make a trisaccharide. Then we have how many carbon atoms are present inside the ring of fructose. So we know fructose have six ring structure, right? So many of you can directly do 6A option, but here it's not right. Why? Just because in the question it's written inside the ring, right? So this means we have two concept. When they're asking you for inside, this means 4 is the right option. When they're asking for outside, this means we have two more. So for inside 4, this means C is the right option. Which of the following polysaccharide is present in human muscle abundantly? As I mentioned earlier, human muscle this means glycogen because actin, are not present. These all doesn't work. Here we need to pick out the odd one. Pectin, agar, and cellulose, these are the types of or are present in carbohydrates. However, galactose cannot be in this. Galactose is simply a monomer. These three are the big polymer like structures. I hope it's clear. Which of the following carbon rings are found outside the ring of fructose? This means outside is two, but they are here. They're asking which of the following carbon are present outside this first carbon and on the sixth carbon. They're asking for the position. We have kind of like six. So on the first and the last six, you'll see two outside ring structure. Which of the following is sugar the sweetest? The sweetest sugar on earth, like the most sweetest is fructose. So you need to remember this as well. And then we have in disaccharide, if carbon atoms are 12, then how many OH groups will be present? They're asking in disaccharide if carbon atoms are 12, then how many OH group will be present? So if we have 12 carbon atoms, how many OH groups? OH group would be 8 OH group would be formed. Which of the following are non-reducing sugar? This is a memory-based question. You need to remember sucrose is called as non-reducing disaccharide sugar. However, maltose and lactose are reducing sugar, and mannose is also somewhat in this, but not the non-reducing. Still, you can identify your answer. Which of the following sugar is mainly present in human blood? Of course, I am sure you would be knowing glucose is present because it's help in the transportation of oxygen dissolved. You'll find glucose in human blood. And then we have simplest monosaccharide containing ketone group, so that's called as dihydroxy acetone. Why? Just because glucose have aldehyde group, not ketone. Ribose only have like five ring structure, wherever aldehyde, glycerol also have aldehyde, so ketone group only is in dihydroacetone. The compound which on hydrolysis yields polyhydroxyaldehyde, aldehyde or ketone aminoacids are carbohydrates. Just because aldehyde and ketone are present in carbohydrate structure, not in lipids, not in protein. As polynucleotide, this means a part of nucleic acid. It cannot be in that as well. Which of the following type of carbohydrates has high molecularity weight and is sparingly soluble in water? So polysaccharide is one of them because oligo, mono, di, these are not monosaccharide. This means having one carbon sugar, disaccharide two carbon sugar, and oligo, which is simply a sugar or oligosaccharide. So this means polysaccharide is the right option because carbohydrate, because polysaccharide have high molecularity weight and this is a soluble in water as well. And then we have question which is glycosidic bond is formed by. Glycosidic bond is simply formed by removal of water because addition of oxygen, no, it's also removal of oxygen. Addition of oxygen is right, but here it's removal of oxygen is wrong. Addition of water, no, actually it's removal of water. Then starch is present. Okay, where starch is present in tuber, fruits, grain, and these all absent in animal cells. Dash of a substance is stored in liver and muscles. So glycogen is something which is stored in liver and muscles. The covalent bond or bridge between two monosaccharides form a disaccharide is called as that's called as glycosidic bond, which is an example of disaccharide. Disaccharide bond example is simply lactose because um, starch, fructose, glycogen aren't disaccharide instead. So fructose is simply considered as I don't know where that question went. Oh, here. Disaccharide, we need to identify the lactose as disaccharide. However, fructose is monosaccharide, and starch and glycogen both are polysaccharides. So this means A is the right option. Dash is stored in animals, and it's like third time maybe this question is here. So glycogen is stored in animals. However, cellulose is simple and abundant. Starch is stored in plants, and sucrose is simply a monomer. Like two monomers combined, they are forming a polymer, but still it's not the right option. It's not stored in animal cells. However, glycogen is the right option. Then we have the bond that is formed between two monosaccharides, that's called as glycosidic bond. Okay, glycosidic bond, hydrogen bond is not over here. Ionic and peptide bond is present in proteins. Pure form of cellulose is called as cotton is the pure form of cellulose. The best example of polysaccharide which is stored in animals, again glycogen. I don't know why this question is so repetitive, but just because this is very important, like you can see these all written here, these came in these past papers. So yeah, ETA, then AJK, these all universities and a lot of things. CNH10O is the formula of, so that's formula of deoxyribose sugar, 5 carbon and 10 hydrogen. Dash the storage form of carbohydrates in animal, which are, and that's dash in and plants. So glycogen is in animals, starch is in plants. Monosaccharide having a general formula represented by, so that's CNH2ON. Dash are major sites for storage of glycogen in an animal's body. So major site for storage of glycogen. Glycogen is simply storage in muscles, and they're asking for the location, position. Muscle and liver, no, actually muscle and liver they produce. Liver, like in these they store, but they're asking for the location around thighs and belly. No, really, around belly and hips. Yeah, not in thighs, but belly and hip region around there. Not even in the kidney. Chitin is a lipoprotein. Remember that. Which of the following is instant source of energy in living organism, like the glucose? So the general formula is CXH2Y. This like you need to learn it. All the characteristic of monosaccharides except, so monosaccharide simply having one carbon sugar. So this is all carbon contain OH except carbonyl group. So yeah, this is right. Primary product of photosynthesis, monosaccharide is one carbon, so it's simply literally produce or the primary product. Then it's synthesized, then they form three carbon. Light dark reaction occur. Very simple and very sweet in taste. Yeah, that's also true. But digestion by amylase enzyme, no, because carbohydrate don't digest this. However, when they become complex like disaccharide, trisaccharide, then they're in our food. When we eat that food, that's go in our mouth, and in mouth we have amylase enzyme which will digest it. But here monosaccharide is not digested by amylase enzyme. Which of the following sugar is a component of nucleic acid? So triose, hexose, pentose, these tetrose, these all are the types of carbohydrates. However, pentose is simply having five ring like a structure, and that's also called as ribose. So ribose you will see in the nucleic acid, because nucleic acid ribose play a very good role because it's very important there. So here come the end of only the water and carbohydrate section. Tomorrow we'll come with the protein and other MCQs. So goodbye.